of the NCAA Basketball Championship.
Hi everybody, I'm Pat O'Brien. Welcome to our primetime coverage of the 1996 NCAA Basketball Tournament. Glad you're spending part of your Friday with us here on CBS. Well, tonight we continue along the road to the Final Four with 4 games to determine the final half of the Elite Eight. We begin with a bluegrass battle in Lexington as Mississippi State meets UConn, the top Southeast seed. For the Bulldogs, 6'11" junior Eric Dampier looks to put a damper on UConn. In 2 tournament games, he has averaged 17 points and converted 76% of his shots. But the Huskies counter with an offensive stingray of their own. That's Big East Player of the Year, Ray Allen, who has tallied 49 points in a pair of wins. Then at 8 o'clock, some of you will see 2 West Regional teams looking to reach new heights out of the Mile High City. It's 8th-seeded Georgia against number 4 Syracuse. For Georgia, 6'8" senior Carlos Strong is a power in the paint, hitting 57% of his tournament shots while averaging about 18 points and 8 rebounds. But senior John Wallace has the juice for the Orange, leading Syracuse in scoring, rebounding, and block shots. Then in our late games, the 3rd-seeded Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech look to sting the 2nd-seeded Cincinnati Bearcats in a Southeast feast. And out west, number 3 Arizona aims to show the 2nd-seeded Jayhawks that they aren't in Kansas anymore. And joining us in the studio tonight, a pair of former coaches, George Raveling and Pete Carrill, the man who led Princeton for 29 years. And you got about 31 years in you, right?
31 was too long.
Too long. Well, I'm glad you're here, Pete. Nice to see you. When you look at these 4 games tonight, what do you see?
Well, Pat, I see great games, great teams, great talent, great intensity. And I've had a lot of fun here for 2 days, but I think I'm going to have more fun watching the games.
He's rolling right into that promotional syndrome. George, give me an upset tonight.
My upset special is Georgia over Syracuse. Georgia is a senior-dominated team that's strong in the point. Pat, they had a great regular season win over Georgia Tech. The key for Georgia is going to be to force Syracuse out of that 2-3 zone.
Pete, you got an upset for us?
I like Georgia Tech because they play a lot like Princeton, only faster.
Georgia Tech over Cincinnati, says Pete. One late update for you. UConn freshman guard Ricky Moore, who injured his right shoulder in the Huskies' first-round game against Colgate, warmed up moments ago. There he is. He could see action tonight against Mississippi State. And the road to the Final Four will continue after a word from your local station.
This is CBS.
To survive.
Mississippi State and Kentucky, for those of you expecting Georgia and Syracuse, we'll get you to that tip at 8 o'clock sharp. We'll see you later at halftime. Enjoy the games, everybody.
CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Genuine Chevrolet, Cellular One, Bud Light, and by Burger King.
Smart takes the shot. Indiana wins the championship. There's the pass to Latham. Two of the hottest teams in college basketball both find themselves just 2 wins away from a first ever Final Four. Mississippi State, the champions of the SEC tournament, against the Big East champion Connecticut Huskies, the 1 seed in the Southeast. Later here, Georgia Tech and Cincinnati set to go about 10 o'clock. Jim Nance along with Billy Packer, both all pumped up for this doubleheader tonight. We have one of the stars of college basketball here, Billy. Ray Allen, the All-America for the Connecticut Huskies. Tell us a little bit about Ray here tonight.
Well, a real scintillating performer, Jim. He can drive, he finishes on the break. He's one of the best pure shooters from 3 we've ever seen. And maybe what sets it all off, he figured out some way in the Big East tournament to get a shot up against Georgetown to bring him that championship. A great player.
Talk about great players. Eric Dampier in the middle for Mississippi State. He will be tough to handle tonight for the Huskies, won't he?
He's been a major presence. Reminds me an awful lot of Keith Lee in the terms of the way that he looks. But I think a better athlete, a real presence in the middle.
All right, the lineups for Mississippi State. Dante Jones with Russell Walters, Dampier, Bullard, Wilson. For the Huskies, King and the senior Johnson, Travis Knight against Dampier, matched up in the middle. Allen and Sheffer, arguably the best backcourt in college basketball.
And Jim, if there's any big advantage in the backcourt, it's the height situation with Allen and Sheffer tower over the backcourt of Mississippi State.
Mississippi State off the tip. Jones hits the shot right away. 4 seconds into the game, and the Bulldogs get the first bucket to go.
Now, although Jones wasn't here, this ball club beat Kentucky in Rupp Arena for the first time ever for Mississippi State last year. And of course, they came off that SEC win against Kentucky to win the championship.
Didn't play Kentucky here during the regular season. That game was played in Starkville.
Right.
So the last time they played on this floor, Mississippi State won. Allen misfiring on his first shot of the night.
And you see Allen is able to shoot that ball over the top of Wilson. Straight man.
Jones with a 3. Kept alive, but tipped out to Sheffer. Huskies like to play up-tempo. Sheffer drives middle, corner to Johnson. King's open at the free throw line. He'll take it inside.
Nobody there to rebound.
King gets it again for 2.
And then no block out, Jim. King took that shot with nobody from Connecticut anywhere near the paint, but there was no block out. Here we see a 2-2-1 trap.
Leaves open. Wilson, 3-pointer. Darrell Wilson, first team All-SEC on the coaches poll this year.
He's taken 207. That was 208 threes on the year. He's shooting over 40%.
Knight over the top to Sheffer, misses it with the left hand, and Russell Walters pulls it down for the Bulldogs.
That was a sign of things to come. Sheffer going inside and posting up against the smaller guards.
Dampier, Knight behind him, short, followed up and in, slammed home, Dante Jones.
Dante Jones coming off 2 outstanding ball games in the NCAA tournament, and of course was the MVP of the SEC tournament.
He had 28 in that final against Kentucky. Dampier with the rebound. Mississippi State, the hot team at the start. 7-2, looking for more. Bullard, he's 0 for 9 now in the NCAA tournament from 3. Ahead, Rudy Johnson thought about the baseliner, doesn't challenge the big man. Outside with the steal. Bullard, he'll take middle, and a block foul called on Sheffer of Connecticut. I thought Knight might get this rebound. King was inside too, but Jones slammed it home with the left hand, Billy.
Boy, he brought that thing down with the left hand, as you say, Jim. A junior college All-American who has been a great addition to this ball club that lost 3 starters from last year. And remember, at this time a year ago, we thought Mississippi State could be a real threat to go to the Final Four a year ago.
Mississippi State made it to this round last year, Sweet 16, and then lost to the eventual national champion UCLA Bruins, who then in turn knocked out Connecticut in the next round in the Elite 8 out west.
Speaks of how strong that region was, huh?
This one this year is pretty good too.
Yep. Straight man-to-man. Connecticut changing their defenses.
Dampier wildly from the blocks.
Thought that ball hit under the bracket. Would have been Connecticut's anyway.
Outside foul called against Mississippi State's Darrell Wilson. And the road to the semifinals included a rather rough go of it against Virginia Commonwealth, where Wilson led the way, 15 points, and then ending the dream run of Princeton after Princeton's win against UCLA.
That was really a business-like victory, too. I mean, they saw what Princeton had done in that opening game against UCLA, and these guys just came out, went to work. And as Pete Corral said, not only in the studio, but after the game, they just too good a ball club.
Dampier with the block of Rudy Johnson's shot.
Jim, he's playing kind of a one-man zone inside in the paint. And Travis Knight is going to have to keep him occupied. If he's not going to guard him, he's got to either go set some solid screens or get on the inside with some offensive rebounds. So far, he's not doing it. There's that pack way back inside. Knight playing the same kind of game.
Wilson, another 3, and again, he drops it home. And that's 10-2 Mississippi State.
Well, Connecticut found themselves way behind against Eastern Michigan, Jim, so it's something that they have experienced in the NCAA tournament. And this is the man that usually gets them back in the game.
Allen inside, and he banks it home.
Picking up again. Full court. It's a 2-2-1 zone trap. Let's see if they stay in it. Remember, Dante Jones has got himself open in the wings. There he goes.
Jones from Bullard.
Jim, that matchup is going to be a problem if Connecticut's going to play that defense, because Dante Jones was wide open on the wing. And by the time Ray Allen got there, Jones was in perfect position for the dunk.
He can get up, Billy.
Oh, I guarantee it.
He really glides on that floor, does Dante Jones.
Well, if this team can handle Kentucky, you know they're not in awe of a Connecticut.
Ray Allen buries the jumper. 2-point shot, 12-6, Mississippi State.
Now here's the spread again. You got two experienced guards back there who can shoot. And you've got Jones kind of wandering around.
That's a violation. Turnover. An official's timeout. Dante Jones slamming them home with 6 points early and a 6-point lead. Tournament will yield you a national championship, and these four are halfway there. UMass, Kentucky, Georgetown, Wake Forest, all with 3 wins, but needing 3. Here it's 2012 Mississippi State with 11:55 to go in the first half.
Watch this attack. You notice that one guard will stay behind the other, so there's always a passing lane. Attacking that 2-2-1 full court press beautifully. Nice concept by Richard Williams. Little pick and roll action there. Nothing available. Dampier goes down low.
Doubled up. Now skip pass. 5 on the shot clock. Bullard with Allen on him. Not in time. Still as hot as Wilson is.
Almost made that shot.
Shot put style, almost banked it in. There's Richard Williams in his 10th year coaching at Mississippi State. Hired 10 years ago this past Tuesday.
First year, Jim, 7-21. Much like Jim Calhoun. They didn't inherit a big program.
Ahead, uncontested. Bullard will give it up.
Almost double dribble.
Jones and a double-digit lead of 10, 22-12, the largest lead of the game. Mississippi State has never trailed.
And watch what Dampier's doing. See, he's playing a one-man zone down inside. He'll let Hayward go out and drift. He wants to protect that paint. So there's not a lot of room.
Good screen. Rudy Johnson screened the man to give Sheffer the open 3, but Sheffer, trying to follow his miss, commits the foul.
Jim, let's see this fumble right here by Bullard. He has it. He's waiting for Jones to come down. He's okay. You can recover a fumble. So that was an okay play.
In the NFL and in the NCAA. 2 fouls, by the way, Billy, on Sheffer after committing that one.
He really pulled the string on that last jump shot. Didn't follow through with it at all. Back screen that time by Wilson.
Dampier finds Bullard open, but he snaps it over to Wilson. And a charge call. Charge call on Darrell Wilson, his second.
You know, Jim, one of the guys that could be a key for this game, you mentioned Wake Forest is the last team talking about moving forward. They're losing Tony Rutland really hurts. But when you start talking about this Connecticut team, Ricky Moore's absence in a game like tonight is really a serious problem for him. With that shoulder injury, the way it's going, it doesn't look like he'll be in there. But they could use a penetrating guard against this type of defense.
Ricky Moore sitting all the way at the end of the bench. He went through the warm-ups, practiced about half the time yesterday, then left the floor. Kirk King has come back in for the Huskies, who have missed their last 8 shots. Long-range 3, Ray Allen.
Darrell Wilson serves as kind of like a peep sight for Ray Allen on those jump shots. Too small to cover him. Connecticut backing up now, no longer pressing this team. Those guards did such a good job against it.
That was a 3 long range that Allen will have to get used to down the line. And inside on UConn, it's called on Travis Knight.
Great offensive set by Mississippi State. I'm sure Pete Carell smiled on that backdoor cut.
And for UConn, checking in Rochelle Jones.
Well, the rest of the night, Georgia and Syracuse. First one out in Denver tonight. Georgia Tech, Cincinnati to follow here. And in Arizona and Kansas.
Well, Jim, with the great success that the SEC and the Big East has had, sooner or later, you had to get some clashes. So you got the Georgia-Syracuse tonight, and of course, you've got this one right here. Something had to give.
Wilson gets them both. Wilson with 14 points in the first 10.5 minutes. Johnson gave it back to the teammate.
Dante Jones.
King follows. Knight tips it in. 7 rebounds for Travis Knight.
You start talking about the way the pace is played. Mississippi State looks like they can keep their starters out there a long while. This has not become a run and shoot game.
Wilson, please, one more time. He is now 5 for 5 from three-point land.
Not only that, Jim, he's getting that shot right up in his shoulder with that patented jumper of his with basically nobody guarding him.
That foul called on Bullard, his first. And coming in now for UConn is Deion Carson, junior college transfer for Rudy Johnson. You talked about the pace of play, you know, all season long. Mississippi State, the most it's given up to any opponent. It's only 80 to Arkansas. Knight.
Good second bounce by Dampier. Knight had him completely out of position, but the big guy came down and went back up quickly. Dampier on the year, 101 blocks, and he's had 2 so far tonight. That puts him at 103.
Ray Allen driving. Getting himself a trip to the line for 2. That foul called on Dampier, his first. Ray Allen, 23 points per game. First team All-America.
Number 2 scorer in the Big East behind Allen Iverson, who is showing everybody around the country what a great performer he is. The Big East this year for the first time in history had 3 first-team All-America. Iverson, Kittles, who's already home now, and Allen. This is a pair.
Don't expect that.
Nope.
27-17 Bulldogs, 8:30 to go in the half.
They have totally negated the press. A place where Connecticut likes to start their offenses with their defense, and they're not getting it tonight.
Dante Jones threw that right over Dampier, and they said it touched the Huskies last. Now we've got Mississippi State subbing for the first time. Starters had gone all the way to this point. Whit Hughes, 6'5" sophomore from Jackson, Mississippi, comes in.
Jim, what's unusual in this ball game is Mississippi State on the year turns the ball over more than they have assists. Tonight they are being very efficient with the ball.
Dante Jones, 2.
Backed away. Good defense by King. Ray Allen really trying to score, isn't he?
Oh, but that time Jones was cutting to the baseline, and Allen threw it out of bounds. Jerome Sheffer comes back in. Remember, he has 2 fouls. Jones will sit. And they keep Deion Carson on the floor. He's getting the minutes now that would have belonged to Ricky Moore.
Dante Jones posted up inside.
10 on the shot clock. Backing in, Kirk King goes up high, though. He can really get up on that jumper.
Terrific ball reversal by Mississippi State. Jones had him posted the whole time.
Carson, outsider. Rebound to Hughes.
This team is really well schooled at blocking out. And Dampier makes it all work by his presence in that one-man zone down in the middle.
Dampier shot. In and out. Jones battles for it, though. No call.
I think Jones's feet were out of bounds.
Yep, that was the call. So it'll be Husky basketball. Wilson was 17 to face the Bulldogs, who lead by 12. Glad to have you with us.
Mississippi State up 37-21 early over UConn. 3:05 left in the halftime. Pat O'Brien in New York, along with George Raveling and Pete Carell. I want to show you what's going on out in Denver. Georgia trails Syracuse now, 22-13. Georgia playing in the red shorts, and George early in this game. But what do you see?
Well, two things. Number one, the tempo favors Georgia, but the score doesn't. Number two, Syracuse is getting a lot of baskets in transition. What Georgia's got to do, Pat, is get Syracuse out of that 3-2 zone.
There's 5,287 reasons why they're gasping for air up there in a mile-high city. Pete, what do you like here?
I agree with George. That zone defense there starts out like a 2-3, then comes into a 3-2. It's a little bit of a combination, and it appears as though Georgia's having some trouble with it.
Up-tempo game, and they are gasping for air, as we saw there. You'll see this game at halftime. Let's send you back out to Billy Packer and Jim Nance.
Thanks, Pat. Here, Marcus Bullard missed a jumper for Mississippi State. So 37-21, the score as it was going to the timeout. 2:12 to go in the first half.
Heish on Sheffer. They're trying to post him up down low.
That's Bart Heish, number 22, seeing his first action for the Bulldogs. Floater by Allen.
That's a great shot because he knew Dampier was waiting on him on the inside.
Allen with 14 of UConn's 23.
And Jim Calhoun trying to get his team aggressive on defense. They're just not doing this in this ball game.
Dante Jones.
Second
King
time
chases it down.
Jim, second time he's come down on the jump shot on one leg, fading away as opposed to going straight up and down.
Freshman with the left hand. Misfiring Jones to the outside. Heish pulled up three. Jones
beating everybody to the ball.
All UConn underneath. King the rebound.
Ill-advised shot there. You're up 14. Nobody under the boards. Should have brought it back out. He's shaking his head. He realized it. See, Sheffer's trying to back down inside on Heish. Good move.
Foul called on Heish. That is the 6th team foul on Mississippi State. So one away from the 1-and-1. Coming up, Pennzoil at the half. You heard Pat, George Raveling, plus Pete Carell will get you updated on all the tournament news. Plus a live look at the Syracuse-Georgia game. That's coming up, Pennzoil at the half.
Jim, Richard Williams took Dante Jones out. Nice move on his part. He's got the 2 fouls on. There's 1:10 to go, but he also wants to talk to him, as he is right now, about that shot selection. Really done a nice job with his ball club. First 3 years with his ball club, losing records. Then in 90, he gets to the NIT. In 95, of course, he takes his ball club right to the NCAA tournament.
And will replace the shooter, Sheffer, who has 5 points but does not have an assist in the first half. Travis Knight also came in, and as you can see, they replaced Jones with Whit Hughes, who had that ankle sprain earlier in this half. He's fine.
There's the 2-2-1 press again. Without Jones in there, it won't be quite as effective offensively. I didn't think so. They can turn him over. Not the same target in that triangle as is Dante Jones.
12 on the shot clock.
Tough matchup here. Johnson on Heish.
5 on the shot clock. Bullard cutting through, and a whistle and a hold called against UConn's Jones.
Boy, that was a big foul, Jim. Down to 3 seconds on the clock. Mississippi State in no position to get off a decent shot. Of course, here they got a situation, 3 seconds. New 35 on because of the foul. Yep.
Only like a 2-second differential on the shot clock, game clock. So the new 35. That was only the 6th team foul on the Huskies. 20 called by the Bulldogs.
Richard Williams wanting to come back with his 2 starters that were sitting on that bench for the last possession.
You talked about Richard Williams a moment ago. He is a graduate of Mississippi State, coaching at his alma mater, but interestingly, he never played basketball at Mississippi State. Was a lifetime math teacher before he got involved in coaching, and initially was a high school baseball coach, worked his way up to an assistant level at Mississippi State. Then again, 10 years ago this week, he took over as head coach. He's taken him to the NCAA tournament for the 3rd time in the 90s.
Well, how about Rick Majerus? How about Roy Williams? Huh? It doesn't mean that you've got to be a player in order to be a great coach. They were students of the game. In Richard's case, he was a student under Babe McCarthy for many years.
He observed Babe McCarthy's teams. He'd sit in the stands and watch Mississippi State back in the mid-60s. Now, just that 2-second differential.
1-4 situation here. Are they going to bring Jones out for a jumper?
That's offensive. It was a last-second push there by Bullard.
I didn't think that was a good move on his part. He's got Wilson on one wing, Dante Jones on the other. I thought he'd take it down to about 8 seconds and let one of them roll off him for their jump shot. Particularly the way Wilson shot in this first half.
So UConn can operate now with the last 9 seconds, let's call it, of the half.
Dampier out on another great hedge move on his part.
Jones not in time. Mississippi State with only 5 first-half turnovers, but they made only 1 field goal, Billy, the last 6 minutes. That's the end of the first half. The score, Mississippi State 37, Connecticut 25. And CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
Hi, everybody. I'm Pat O'Brien. Welcome back to our New York studios, and welcome to Pennzoil at the Half. I'm here with George Raveling and Pete Carrill, a combined 74 years of coaching experience. George?
74 years, but the difference is I never coached anybody with 1,900 on the SATs.
What's wrong with UConn? Well, we know Mississippi State's not afraid of anybody because they showed that to us when they beat Kentucky. What's wrong with them tonight?
Well, a couple of things. Number one, for UConn, their press has been no factor thus far in the game, so that means they're not getting any easy baskets. And the other thing for UConn is that they can't find a comfortable rhythm in their offense, Pat.
Yeah, UConn knows how to come back, Pete.
Well, I noticed they missed about 4 or 5 offensive rebounds, and they generally tip in. But I have to say this, Mississippi State is the same team that beat Kentucky. And if anyone is taking them lightly, it's to their rue.
I guarantee you, UConn's not taking Mississippi State lightly right now. They're down 37-25 at halftime. Another game going on. Watch these guys gasp for air up in Denver, Colorado. Let's not Tim and Al. Let's go to Tim and Al. They're not gasping, we don't think. Let's listen in.
26-22, Syracuse by 4 here at Denver's McNichols Sports Arena. 8:10 to go in the first half. Syracuse got off shooting hot, 9 of 14. And Georgia's been unable to catch him, and Sims setting it up perfectly for John Wallace.
Might have been one of the better ever alley-oops in my career in watching college basketball. Unbelievable timing.
Todd Bergen. Bergen was the man up for it. Normally Wallace, the guy they get that to, but Todd Bergen had the space and the ambition.
Plus, they're overplaying Wallace, really double-teaming him every time he gets the ball. Smith has to shoot from out there. They're laying off him. See Sims how far Walton is laying?
Syracuse zone has bothered Georgia right from the outset. Davis, K2 Davis, missing that three-point try, and it's Syracuse ball. Let's go back to the alley-oop.
Here's what we call a long, long alley-oop. Up, up, and away. Yes, the best I've ever watched.
I'm Jackie Joyner.
Georgia Bulldogs, 21-9, upsetting the top seed in the West, Purdue, off to a 40% field goal percentage. Syracuse shooting at 65% and getting more points from their front court against this very good and strong and able front court of the Bulldogs.
It's about time they kicked it into Wallace.
Wallace blew right through Carlos Strong.
Oh, he's a player. Wow, he hasn't been going down the blocks there. He gets that. Watch a quick spin on the baseline and up, and then he buries it.
6 points.
He has that strong, powerful body at 6'8". And by staying in school this year, I believe that he probably picked up about $10 million.
Well, and he feels like he's really improved his game, mainly by shooting more from the perimeter, working on his jumper, and he's very glad that he stayed. He became a team leader, something that Jim Boeheim was hoping he would be this year, and he's really accepted that role very well.
He worked all summer, pacing the basket, 15, 18 feet out.
49% this season, 40% from three-point range, 76 from the line, 8.6 rebounds, averaging 22 a game. That is a Player of the Year stuff.
Ooh, I thought they were calling for walking, but then they call him for charging. Bell has indecision once he gets the ball. If he doesn't react immediately, he seems to have problems.
Terrell Bell picks up his second personal.
Watch here, Bell got the ball down low. I thought right here he walked, but then he charged in. Hill just kept his arms in the air, didn't move his feet. Good call by the refs.
31-22 Syracuse. Georgia pressing. Bergen brings it up.
Georgia got to press more and gamble more. Their game is quickness. They got 5 seniors out there. They're mature. They're the only Cinderella team, in my opinion, left in the tournament. I don't know if a glass slip will fit on a Bulldogs floor, but
Otis Hill from the paint. Well, they're probably trying to construct one down in Georgia right now in the hopes that maybe they'll get to jam it on. 31-22, another turnover, 7 for Syracuse. Harrison in the lineup, number 23 off the bench, the freshman from Lithonia, Georgia. Davis, Anderson, and for the first time in the game, John Norton, freshman forward at 6'8", number 42.
Against the zone, you move the ball. Against man-to-man, you move the man.
Bergen taking it to the hoop in traffic.
Todd makes a nice move here by not charging, getting this bounce and just going straight up. And then he did a little bit of Hollywood to get the 2 foul shots.
Shandon Anderson picking up his first personal. Bergen at the line with 4 points. Todd Bergen missing the first of 2. Bergen had a good game against Drexel on the board. 7 rebounds along with 9 points.
He's their best defensive player, probably their best athlete.
31-22. Harrison quickly up court for the Dogs. Carlos Strong missing a 3.
No, don't panic, Strong. Don't be starting to shoot from out there. You got the guards out there. Go hit the boards or get behind that zone. Nice move.
The rebound. Hill off to a great start for the Orangemen. Nice pass from Sims. 11 points for Otis Hill.
Syracuse shooting over 60% from the field right now, and they lead 33-22. And Al McGuire, George Raveling, was talking about the experience of Georgia. You'd think with all that experience to be able to find their shots a little better, huh?
Well, the problem that Georgia's experiencing, Pat, is they cannot find quality shots against that zone. The Syracuse 3-2 zone has Georgia's offense spread so wide that they can't even get an offensive rebound.
Syracuse with 22 points from their front court. Pete, what do you see here?
Well, I see the same thing. When they put in the 3-point shot, everyone said that would be the end of zone defenses. But this year, I've seen a lot of them, and tonight there's one that's very effective.
33-22 our score, 5:14 left in that halftime. Coming up later here on CBS in our second tier of games. In the Southeast from Lexington, it's the number 3 seed Georgia Tech against the 2 seed there, Cincinnati. And then around 10:20, don't hold us to it, Arizona and Kansas. That's coming up right here on CBS. We'd like to thank you all for joining us here on Pennzoil at the Half. Thank you, gentlemen. Enjoy the second half here on CBS. We'll be here all night.
Pennzoil at the Half was sponsored by Pennzoil. For more engine miles, Pennzoil works like liquid ball bearings.
UNLV didn't qualify. Duke, Carolina, Arkansas, and UCLA have been eliminated. So all of the champions of the 90s Not in the tournament. Kentucky in a regional final for the 4th time in 5 years.
Jim, I'll throw one out that's kind of crazy, and I didn't realize this, but for the first time in SEC history, they've had a team in the Final Four for 3 years. You would have thought in all the time that Kentucky was so powerful, there'd have been more times that had happened. And they could do 4 this year the way their teams are moving. Of course, they had Kentucky in '93, Florida and Arkansas in '94, and Arkansas last year again. So the first time that's ever happened in SEC history.
Big East, meanwhile, looking for a first spot in the Final Four since '89. Wilson off balance that time, but Walters brings it back out.
Terrific rebound and a reset on the clock. Now with Dante Jones out, they really lose a very important part of that balance we talked about, because they don't have the wing shooter. Walters not going to take it.
Jones out. He has 3 fouls. He has not scored in the second half after a big burst at the start where he had 10.
See, they really missed that wing shooter.
Shot clock down to 2. And King secures it.
How about that? A smart play by Dampier not to go over the back of King. Don't pick up a cheap foul. Your team's in the lead. You don't want to give up any points, nor get into that foul situation where you got them on the line. Right now, both teams in pretty good shape in that regard. Mississippi State with just 2 team fouls.
Allen lost control of it. Now Bullard with Allen chasing.
Oh, that was goaltended.
No call.
Jim, that was absolutely goaltended. The ball had hit the backboard, had to be on the way down because it was over the rim.
Well, Allen kind of gave up the chase because he was wanting to set up for the block, and boy, did he block it. And the officials called it clean. 50-37 Mississippi State. 9:30 remaining, and Allen with the push.
Well, the officials missed that call, Jim. You can block a ball when it hits the rim or hits the backboard, but this one hits, and now it's down. As soon as it hit, it's on his way down because he was on above the rim when he lays it up there. Boom. Ray Allen takes it right to there. In addition to that, that ball was in the cylinder. So for 2 reasons, the officials missed that call.
Allen picks up his 2nd foul.
Teams being very patient here, Jim, and I think at the 9-minute mark, Connecticut's going to have to think of another way to play defense against this club. Maybe a half-court trap. They've got to get much more aggressive.
Dampier lofts it high in the air for 2 more.
What they're doing defensively is not working.
Knight, that was a prayer from inside. Just kind of wildly throwing it in the area.
Dampier has beaten Knight down the floor. He's in position to rebound.
Sheffer, rebound, and will try the right side. Jones wants it. Got an open 3. The freshman knocks it down.
This is the pace that I think Connecticut is going to have to play if they're going to get back in the game.
Those were the first points of the game from off the bench for either team. 52-40 Bulldogs. 8:20 to go.
How long does Richard Williams keep Dante Jones on the bench? He's got 3 fouls, right?
That's it. That's 3. Walters, jumper, back of the rim, long rebound, Knight.
I'd say it's time for Dante Jones. They have to get that other scorer in a ball game.
King in the lane, rattled out, but inside Jones. King tipped it once. Off Walters. There's a sub coming in for Mississippi State, but it's not Jones. It's Bart Heisch. Hayward checks in for Connecticut. Husky ball when we come back. Well, Georgia Tech says if Cincinnati can do it, we can too. They come out to watch the action. Huskies shooting 31%. Mississippi State with the 3s all from Wilson, and Ray Allen 1 of 5 in the second half. UConn unable to penetrate that 12-point halftime lead.
Jim, they're going to have to change this game around with a different defensive strategy. A 5-second call on Sheffer. Nobody coming to meet the ball. Now let's see if they do try to pick up a lot tougher defensively. They just fall back. Really surprising.
They have brought in Dante Jones during the timeout. He checked in.
And they put Wilson on the floor. So what you see Richard Williams trying to do right now is to be able to have his guys rested and out of foul trouble going down the stretch.
10 on the shot clock. Again, Wilson on the bench.
Well, they're getting it into Dampier anytime they want to.
5 on the shot clock. Shepard crashes the boards. On the wing, Jones. Boy, I tell you, Hayward had position, but Dante Jones got a hand on it to tip it to the outside.
Jimmy's got some long arms and excellent timing. Plays much bigger than he's listed at 6'7", but he plays about 6'9".
Two Huskies who look like they would control that offensive rebound. 6:50 remaining. Jones now wants to take it.
And he's too quick for Knight. Young man averaged 27 a game in junior college. You can tell that he can light it up.
His first points in the second half. Yep. Jones comes in. What, not even a minute into the game after that break, and that's his 4th.
He got stuck down inside on Knight on a bad mismatch. And just think about it here. You've got Dampier who's better off guarding Knight, and you got Hayward who's not going to take the shots. How Jones got on the bad, and he's still on the wrong matchup.
Allen got 3 for the 3. Brings it down to 11, 54-43. Bart Heisch, freshman, bringing the ball into the front court for Mississippi State.
Here's that bad matchup for Connecticut now. Jones can take Knight. Bad
Short
shot.
on the shot.
Bad shot.
UConn can get it under 10. Three-pointer, Allen. Knight crashes the boards for 2. It's down to 9. First time they've been inside 10 since 9.5 minutes were remaining in the first half.
22nd timeout by Mississippi State. Wise call. Knight having a big game, Jim. Terrific job fouled up one time. Gets it back with 2 hands. He goes up again. Somebody other than Ray Allen step forward. If you're a Connecticut fan, it looks like it may be Knight. Sheffer has not been the man. Moore is not available.
Knight with 10 points and 13 rebounds.
Jim, we talked about the SEC. How about when you start thinking about what Connecticut has done? They've got the best winning percentage of any team in college basketball the last 3 years. Doing a tremendous job. They lead Division I with 89 wins, 12 losses, 49-5 in the Big East. It's incredible, you know what?
Yep, on top in the Big East for 54 straight weeks, but no Final Four during that stretch, and 32-2 this year. A lot of folks expecting a slot in the Meadowlands for this team. They'll have to mount a big-time second-half comeback. 5:45 remaining.
They're extending their defense a little bit more now. That means Dampier may be open down inside. Knight's got his hands full.
Dampier too strong, tipped up, and Knight fouls Dampier.
Now, I'm sure that was part of the game plan from Jim Calhoun. If you're going to go ahead and extend your defense out high with these clever guards, that means there's a lot of space inside for Dampier to operate on your post man. So he has made the move now to get a little bit more aggressive out on the perimeter. So Dampier is going to have that ball.
Eric Dampier, 6'11" junior. And he is a 61% free throw shooter. Look at this. Bulldogs have only attempted 4 on the night to this point. They average 21 free throw attempts a game.
And Jim has a team. They're shooting 71.4%. You like to see that in a ball club.
He takes his time with it at the line.
Connecticut no slouch either from that foul line as a team. They're 73% free throw shooting team.
Hughes will come back in for the Bulldogs for Heisch.
Gives him a little better matchup size-wise. Heisch really doesn't have anybody to guard on this Connecticut team.
55-45. Huskies who came back from 11 down with 4.5 remaining in the Big East final against Georgetown.
Bullard fighting his way through screens. he's doing is looking at that number 34 right in the chest. Look at those eyes.
Yep.
See that?
They're just set right in the middle of those numbers.
If they could burn a hole, it'd go right through his shirt.
Foul called on Wilson on the outside, and for Mississippi State, that's only the 5th team foul. That's number 3 on Wilson. Actually, it's number 4 on the Bulldogs.
Watch Bullard fight through these screens. He's so strong in his shoulders and his chest that even when they try to set a screen, he's able to hold off a guy like King. Now, the referee's doing a wise thing here, telling the guys, got to live space through there.
UConn cannot expect to mount this comeback just on the shoulders of Ray Allen. They need someone like Sheffer to step up.
See, Allen's hanging on to King's shirt so that there's no room for Bullard to get through.
Do you agree with that, Billy? Someone else?
Yeah, sure. I thought that in the first half.
Sheffer 2 out of 11. Knight inside. King for 2.
Everybody's starting to step up a little bit now for Connecticut, Jim. This is the run they've got to make. But I thought they had to get something off their defense.
55-47, 4:45 remaining.
Good, solid game by Mississippi State. They don't look like they're ready to crack anytime soon. That foul on Dante Jones hurt him, though, didn't it? He came in and only was in for about 30 seconds and picked up his 4th. Really hurts him not to have his scoring ability out there.
5 on the shot clock. Dampier misses the short one. Last touch. Well, they say by Mississippi State. I thought at first maybe it was off the hands of Allen.
I thought it hit Walters right on the...
and he's not arguing, so... UConn ball with 4:25 remaining. 10-3 run for UConn.
Now, Sheffer's an experienced player. And although he has not been shooting well in this ball game, you got to figure if they're going to leave him open like they are, he can take one.
Allen, that was a 2. His foot was on the line and rattles out.
He won't miss many of those.
4-minute mark. Mississippi State has made only 2 of its last 10 from the field.
Ray Allen shoots 47% from 3. And when you give him a wide open one, he doesn't miss many.
Yep. It's just a 2, but it's still the drop turned over by Mississippi State. Walters led his teammate too much. So we have an official timeout on the floor. UConn ball. Mississippi State 55-47.
Not what you say, it's sometimes the way you act as a coach. Just a nice piece of coaching here. Ray Allen missed the jumper from the corner. Jim Calhoun came out and met him right at the top of the key and said, that's a good shot, keep doing it. You kind of like to see that. There's no time to panic here.
UConn has all of its timeouts remaining, including a 20. Away from the ball, call against Mississippi State. And that's against Bullard, who was holding Allen on the baseline.
Kind of calling it tight right now down the wire. Went without kind of a foul-free half. And now everything that we see is being called.
That is number 5 on the Bulldogs. 3:38 remaining. Mississippi State has never trailed in this game. The number 5 seed in the Southeast. Allen to get it to 5. Yes.
What did I say? Jim Calhoun said that was a good shot. Keep shooting them. Just that little positive move by a coach can really help.
55-50.
Dante Jones still on the bench, Jim. They can't wait another possession to get him back in there.
We move inside 3 minutes.
Just not. There's 2 guys on the floor don't want to take a shot. Bullard not a big scorer, so you're really down to 2 men that are going to take one.
4 on the shot clock. Bullard. Sheffer got a piece of it. Last touch by UConn. Off the hands of Knight.
1 second. That ball, of course, did not hit the rim. All there's time for, maybe a back screen, Dampier on a lob. Here's the back screen. Here's Dampier. There's the lob.
Ahead to Allen. He'll take Hughes to the baseline. Outside, they say a foul first. That is the 6th team foul. So 1 more, and UConn will go to the line for a 1-on-1. Here comes Jones. 2:38 remaining, Billy. He comes in with the 4 fouls.
And Richard Williams could not wait any longer. And as I said, that cheap foul, which was his 4th, really cost Mississippi State a lot. Because it had him on the floor as the third scorer.
UConn, who's going to inbound it? All right, Sheffer giving some signals.
Bullard's got his hands full now, fighting through these screens, trying to stay on Ray Allen. Sheffer not looking for his jump shot at all, Jim, as he pulled it up short all night. They're looking to get Allen off the screen. Here he comes.
Into the paint. Suspended for a moment. Rebound fought for Rudy Johnson. What an effort to keep it alive.
Ray Allen saying he got hit on the arm. He double pumped that one.
Timeout called by the Huskies. 2:13 remaining in the game. We'll be right back. Close games for these teams this year as you reassess the game situation with the timeouts. UConn's been in only 2 games decided by 5 points or less. Mississippi State 11 on the season. They went 8-3 in games 5 points or less. Ray Allen, empty trip.
Tough shot. Good solid screens by Connecticut. Clock becomes a major opponent now. Connecticut's going to have to come out and pick up much higher. Look for Dampier and Jones play a little 2-man game inside.
Mississippi State with 1 field goal since the 9-minute mark.
And Ray Allen staying all over Wilson. Doesn't want to see a 3 come up right now. Now there's a switch.
Well, there's 7 on the shot clock. Rudy Johnson manning up on Wilson, who drives in. Is Wilson having some kind of night?
Jim, there was a switch that time, and Ray Allen had to get off Wilson. A big mistake for Connecticut.
Allen posting up. Allen fade away.
Trying to do too much right now.
Sheffer
didn't want a jump shot.
Steps in. Followed up by King for 2. 1:10 remaining and a timeout. 109 make it.
And we have a timeout, Connecticut.
He just wants a 20.
See, there was a switch made there, Jim, and Allen had been doing such a good job on Wilson. He got caught on the switch. That put Johnson on Wilson, who's too quick for him. He went right by him as the clock was winding down. Sometimes those things happen. You had everything planned, and it just got away from him. Foul shooting contest the rest of the way, Jim. 109 to go.
So the next foul will send both teams to the line for a 1-on-1. We've had one #1 seed eliminated already from this tournament. That was last weekend, Purdue.
Here's the full court pressure. Now Sheffer's way back here. He's not guarding anybody. He needs to be up tighter. They thought about going long and had to call a timeout. See, that's why Sheffer, when he pulled up tighter, took away the pass.
Timeout, Bulldogs. They call the 20. They want just a 20.
Now, Jimmy, coaches try for those 20-second timeouts, but that was a full timeout available right there.
They didn't have a 20. They called for it at first, but had to wave it off and take a full. So 2 full timeouts left for each team.
Here's the pressure, not guarding anybody taking the ball out of bounds. Wilson comes back for it. And here's where they got to keep the press on. Maybe even double team the ball.
1 minute left in the game.
They come up to double them up.
There it is. Now, first time tonight we've seen Connecticut really kamikaze press.
Hughes drives in, misses the layup, but got it back. And a foul called on Knight. Actually, they'll call that on Rudy Johnson with 48 seconds remaining.
Wilson is built so low to the ground and so powerful. Hughes had an easy layup, nobody on him, and missed that shot, but battled back to get it. But Connecticut, for the first time tonight, going kamikaze on the press.
Dante Jones at the line, shooting a 1-on-1. Now they're going to call it a 2-shot situation. They said in the act of shooting, Billy.
I didn't see that. He was smooth on it. Jim, we kept talking all year long about the Big East, maybe 3 teams in the Final Four. Right now, with the scores out here, hey, what were we thinking of? How about the SEC
yeah,
with 3 in the Final Four? Oh, good tap back by Dampier, but nobody there.
Two-possession game. UConn down 6.
Boy, look at Bullard. Move those feet.
Sheffer having it off night, but hits the big one. Down to 3. 38 seconds to go. Just the 3rd field goal of the night for Sheffer.
Got to pick up. Hughes a little shaky with the ball.
Long pass.
10 seconds.
10-second call.
See, Jim, he never had the ball over the 10-second line. Even though his foot was over, what you need to be over the 10-second line is foot and ball. Now watch this. He'll have his foot over, but never the ball. And everything must be over, ball and feet, to beat the 10.
That's a pretty astute call there.
Yep, very good.
Timeout call. We'll be right back.
Connecticut has 1 timeout left.
To go on the clock. Here's the line. There's the ball. There's the feet. You'll see the pass. It does not get over in time. Excellent call by the official here. Really on top of the game, Jim. Jim, they got to go for 3, don't you think?
Well, they're down 3. 26 seconds to go.
Penetration. They've got Ray Allen sitting over here waiting on it. Here he comes, getting the solid screens.
They're only looking for 3. Now they go in with Knight. Back out Allen for the tie.
Oh, there's a
last touch by. Oh, they're saying Knight fouled.
Dampier, a push-off.
Why did you think they had to get the 3 so fast with 26 seconds?
I thought that they get a little penetration and kick out to Ray Allen. They tried to set up Ray Allen in the perimeter with a lot of solid screens. I really think that that was the thing to do. And then go to rebound it quickly.
So Dampier will be at the line. He's going to be in a 1-on-1.
Hey, you've got a great 3-point shooter. Actually, normally you have 2, Jim. Sheffer tonight did hit that 1-3. Up to that point, he was 2 for 12. That's where, again, I'll go back to Ricky Moore. He's the kind of guy who could blaze in there and then kick back out to those 2 good jump shooters.
Huge shot here. 1-on-1 for Dampier.
Jim, you got a 4-point lead, 2-possession game. What you don't want if you're Mississippi State is no fouls.
Got the soft roll on them both.
Just stay away from them. Ooh, why would they bring it up and call a time?
Call a time with 7.3 remaining. They have no timeouts left.
Mississippi State has 2 timeouts remaining.
Whom wanted the timeout after the basket. Then he says, my fault. 7 seconds to go. They have no timeouts remaining. Down 5. Sheffer open on the inbounds. No call. Out to Allen. And Mississippi State's going to knock out a 1. Mississippi State in a 12-day stretch has beaten Kentucky and now Connecticut.
The first one to go down, right, Jim?
Second one? Purdue.
Purdue, that's right. You're exactly right. Terrific job on that young man, Bullard. Ray Allen, one of the nation's best, just as we saw Kerry Kittles, All-American, have to walk away last week.
So Mississippi State is in the Elite 8 and will play the winner of the Georgia Tech-Cincinnati game, which follows. The genuine Chevrolet players of the game are Darrell Wilson from Mississippi State with 27 and Travis Knight in his final game in a Husky uniform with a double-double. A 1 has been eliminated. What a huge disappointment for the Huskies, who end their season 32-3. They run into a hot team, the Bulldogs of Mississippi State. Right now, let's send it back to New York and Pat O'Brien.
All right, Jim, we'll hear from you later. First trip ever to the Elite 8 for Mississippi State. You can only imagine what's going on at Toby Nash's down in Starkville, Mississippi. The cheering continues. Another Big East team in a little trouble right now, but plenty of time left. Syracuse down by 5. Let's go to Al and Tim.
Steve Jones on the follow of the steal by Robinson. 59 51-52 Bulldogs. Another SEC team trying to beat one from the Big East. The lowest remaining seed, 8 in the West, the Bulldogs of Georgia, unranked at-large entry from that very tough SEC, 9-7 in their conference this year, losing to Mississippi State in the semifinals of the conference tournament. And Mississippi State has ousted UConn.
I said SEC is the best conference.